Welcome to this deep dive.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're looking closely at some, well, truly iconic CEOs.
Yeah, the ones who didn't just run companies, they really changed the game, reshaped whole industries.
Left a massive mark.
Yeah,
And we're drawing everything today from just one place.
that's right. It's all based on profiles found in iconic CEOs, profiles in leadership.
So our mission really is to pull out the key insights from those profiles. What made these leaders so transformative?
And what lessons can we maybe take away from their careers? Things that might be relevant to you, whatever you do.
Exactly. Think of it as us doing the homework, getting you the high-impact stuff.
We'll guide you through the core ideas the profiles present.
Yeah, understanding what made them tick, maybe some surprising facts along the way.
Yeah.
Enough to keep things interesting.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's jump right in. Right, let's unpack this. So our source gives us profiles on three really influential leaders, but from pretty different fields.
Oh, very different. You've got Steve Jobs and tech and entertainment.
Warren Buffett, this sort of giant of investing.
And Jeff Bezos, who totally redefined retail and then built a whole other tech wing.
Yeah. So we'll look at their journeys, their impact, what makes their leadership still relevant today, but always through the lens of these specific profiles.
And it's fascinating, isn't it, to see the different paths they took.
Completely different approaches, but all ending up with, well, incredible success.
Absolutely. So starting with Steve Jobs, the profile kicks off, the classic story, 1976, co-founding Apple with Wozniak
In that garage.
in the garage. But his early path wasn't exactly standard, was it?
No, the profile mentions his interest in engineering, but then dropping out of Reed College,
Uh-huh.
a stint at Atari, which is interesting.
Right. And even that spiritual journey to India.
Yeah, all pieces mentioned in the profile shaping him, but what's really dramatic in the narrative is the setback.
Oh, yeah. Being pushed out of Apple in 85.
Exactly, after a power struggle. And profile highlights that. Then he starts NextT Inc.
Which turned out to be pretty important later.
Right.
Crucial, yeah. The profile notes it was key for his post-Apple journey.
But the really amazing part, emphasized in the profile, is the comeback.
His return in 1997.
Yeah, Apple was apparently really struggling, close to bankruptcy.
And he comes back as interim CEO. I mean, just think about that.
It's an incredible moment in business history, and the profile really frames it that way.
It really does. Taking over the company that ousted you when it's failing, it makes the turnaround even more, remarkable.
And what a transformation. The profile credits him with shaking up multiple industries, not just computers.
Absolutely. You've got the Apple II, the Mac,
Then that incredible run, the iMac, the iPod, and iTunes changing music,
the iPhone, which basically created the modern smartphone market.
and the iPad. Just icon after icon.
And the profile is clear. His return wasn't just about cool products. It sparked one of the biggest corporate turnarounds ever.
Taking Apple from near collapse to, well, one of the most valuable companies on earth.
Hugely innovative, too.
And it all seemed driven by that think different idea, right?
Yeah, the profile points to that as way more than just marketing.
Like a core philosophy.
Exactly. Challenging norms, focusing obsessively on design, user experience, making hardware and software work together seamlessly. That's what the profile suggests fueled Apple's innovation.
So thinking about the lessons from the Jobs profile,
Yeah.
what stands out?
Well, the profile really presents him as this textbook case of visionary leadership.
And that relentless focus on product and brand.
Definitely. And his journey shows, you can navigate huge crises. You can engineer these massive comebacks.
The profile mentions his leadership style too,
It does. Describes it as often autocratic, which is, well known.
but also deeply inspiring.
Right. It acknowledges it's complex, still debated, but central to his impact. The main takeaway seems to be the power of a singular vision.
And the potential for just profound transformation. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting, I think. Contrasting Jobs with someone totally different. Warren Buffett.
Yeah, shifting from tech and design to the world of investment.
And the profile highlights just how early he started. His first stock investment at 11.
Incredible, isn't it? And a huge influence mentioned in the profile is Benjamin Graham.
The father of value investing.
Exactly. That disciplined approach, finding undervalued companies. The profile makes it clear Graham's thinking was foundational for Buffett.
Then the profile traces his path to taking control of Berkshire Hathaway in 1965.
And the detail that it was a struggling textile manufacturer back then.
Yeah, that's striking. A long way from the giant it is now.
That context is so important. The profile stresses that he didn't just jump into finance. He meticulously transformed this old, declining business.
Over decades.
Exactly. It was a long game, built very deliberately, piece by piece.
Which is why he earned that nickname, the Oracle of Omaha. The profile mentions that, of course.
And rightly so. Celebrated as one of the most successful investors, well, ever.
So what's the core philosophy, according to the profile?
It really drills down on it. Long-term value is key. Looking for businesses with strong fundamentals, good management, and critically insisting on a big margin of safety.
Buying below what you think it's really worth, basically, to reduce risk.
Precisely. That patient fundamental approach is the heart of the success story presented in the profile.
And that discipline built Berkshire into this massive conglomerate, over $500 billion market cap.
Yeah, it's huge. And incredibly diverse, as the profile points out.
Right, holding companies like Geico Insurance, BNSF Railway.
Consumer brands, too, like Duracell, Dairy Queen.
Yeah, it really shows the scale, all under the Berkshire umbrella.
Managed according to those core principles.
So what about leadership lessons from the Buffett profile?
I think the profile really offers critical insights into long-term strategic thinking.
And smart capital allocation, right? Deciding where to put the money.
Absolutely, and leading ethically. But it also details his pretty unique management style.
Decentralized.
Very much so. The profile explains he empowers the leaders of the individual companies within Berkshire. He doesn't micromanage.
That seems unusual for such a large company.
It is. It's built on trust, autonomy. And the profile highlights this as key to managing such a diverse portfolio effectively. Enduring principles, really.
Okay, let's pivot again. Back towards tech, but a different kind of empire builder. Jeff Bezos.
Right, someone who started in finance but made his mark elsewhere.
The profile mentions his birth name, Jeffrey Preston Jorgensen, and that funny anecdote.
Oh, the crib. Dismantling it with a screwdriver as a toddler.
Yeah. The profile uses it to capture that early curiosity, maybe. That drive to figure things out.
It seems like it. And his background was rigorous Princeton electrical engineering and computer science degrees.
Then that successful time on Wall Street. D.E. Shaw, other firms.
But the key moment, according to the profile, was seeing that internet growth statistic.
That staggering number, 2,300% annual growth back then.
Just exponential. And the profile says that's what spurred him to leave Wall Street and found Amazon in '94.
Starting as just an online bookstore.
Amazing to think about now. And as the profile notes, he stepped down as CEO in 2021, moving to executive chairman, but his stamp on the company is obviously immense.
Undeniable is the word. The profile really details how he just fundamentally changed retail.
Took Amazon from that bookstore concept to aiming to be Earth's most customer-centric company.
And becoming the world's biggest online retailer.
But his impact, as the profile emphasizes, went way beyond retail. He basically pioneered cloud computing with AWS.
Amazon Web Services. Yeah, that's huge, providing all that computing power online.
It became this enormous, highly profitable business in its own right. And they pushed into digital streaming AI with Alexa.
So the profile defines his leadership by a few core things.
Yeah, several key tenets come through. One is just relentless customer obsession. Then the day one philosophy, always keeping that startup energy no matter how big they got.
Right, avoiding complacency.
Relentless innovation, too.
Yeah.
And always thinking long-term, often over short-term profits.
Did the profile give specifics on the culture?
It did. It mentioned his focus on constant experimentation, even saying something like, invention is part of each person's job description.
Wow.
And a huge focus on building scalable systems, things that could handle massive growth.
So the takeaways from the Bezos profile, what should we focus on?
Well, the profile really paints him as a master of customer-centric strategy and just aggressive expansion into markets.
Yes.
His career offers really powerful lessons in how you foster innovation, especially at scale.
And building the operational backbone to support that kind of explosive growth, moving into totally new areas.
Exactly. It's a case study in disruption, really, driven by that long-term vision and intense customer focus.
So looking at these three profiles from our source together, what does it all mean? We've got these really different paths, different styles.
Very different. You have Jobs, the visionary innovator, the comeback story.
Buffett, the incredibly patient value investor, building steadily from almost nothing.
Right from that textile mill. Discipline, long-term view.
And then Bezos, the relentless experimenter, laser-focused on the customer, disrupting retail, creating new industries with that day one energy.
Yeah, and the profiles show that even though their approaches were so distinct, product focus versus investment selection versus customer obsession, they all built these absolutely massive, impactful companies.
And the leadership lessons touch on, well, a lot of things.
Vision, certainly.
Hmm.
Patience, navigating crises, how you allocate resources strategically, how you foster innovation,
Or build a culture that lasts, thinking long term.
all highlighted in different ways across the three profiles.
So these profiles, they really offer valuable perspectives, don't they, no matter what field you're in?
I think so. Whether you're navigating change yourself, or planning strategically, or just trying to build something meaningful.
There are insights here about different ways to tackle big challenges and opportunities.
They really offered diverse models of what truly transformative leadership can look like based on these specific accounts.
So, thinking about these distinct approaches we've discussed, all drawn from the profiles, the visionary comeback, the patient oracle, the relentless disruptor, here's a final thought for you. Which aspect of their leadership resonates most powerfully with you? What feels applicable or just thought-provoking in your own work or maybe even your life? Something to reflect on.